Hello, my wonderful friends. I thought that we needed to have some fun because I was obviously very triggered on the last video. And so we'll go a little lighter. A little lighter today with Brooks. So I spared you all the before crap because, of course, he asked about subject matter, jurisdiction. He asked about his latest ICF form. I keep wanting to call it, although for him it would be fitting, I keep wanting to call it the inmate complaint form, which that would be, but it is the inmate communication form, am I right? Anyhow, he asked about that stuff, and, we're all tired of hearing. But, excuse me, I will be clearing my throat. Unfortunately, I've got it. My allergies are getting to me, but I will try to be not as obnoxious as possible. That didn't make sense, but I'm going to try not to be obnoxious with it. So this guy in the stand, like I said, I try to get through all the stuff that really doesn't matter. This guy is Master Trooper Michael Smith. He's a Reconstructionist. And so we will go from there.
Please to state your first and last names for the record and spell each.
First name is Michael, M-I-C-H-A-E-L. Last name is Smith, S-M-I-T-H.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. How are you employed?
With the Wisconsin State Patrol.
What's your job title?
I am a Reconstructionist with the Technical Reconstruction
Sorry about
Unit.
that.
How long have you had that position?
I joined the TRU when it was originally formed in 2008. I've been doing full-time recon since 2002. We had a unit formed based on the need for a Reconstructionist that did this type of crash investigation all the time. That's all we do. A normal trooper has traffic enforcement duties. We just have strictly crash recon duties. That's all we do.
How long have you worked for State Patrol?
I was hired in 2000.
Can you describe for us your educational background?
Yes, I have a 2-year associate's degree in criminal justice, and then multiple training in the crash reconstruction field through the State Patrol.
So I'd like to get into that a little bit. Can you tell us what kind of training was required to become a Reconstructionist for the State Patrol?
Yes, I've had over about 2,000 hours of training. That training has been done at our State Patrol Academy. We bring in schools like Northwestern, Texas A&M, IPTM, which stands for the Institute of Police Technology and Management. They come in, they're college level courses. They teach us obviously over a series of weeks. We also have specialty instructors come in for specialty fields in accident reconstruction, which can be vehicle versus pedestrian, vehicle versus motorcycle, CMV crashes, lighting studies, and a bunch of other ones.
How many accident or crash scene reconstruction analyses have you completed as a Reconstructionist with the State Patrol?
Well, since about probably 2004, I would say till now, I average probably over 100 a year that I respond to. And these are serious crashes. They're not just, somebody driving into a mailbox. This is a criminal or possibly injury case involving criminal charges that we respond to. But probably on average over 100 a year for the last, since 2004.
Did you conduct a crash reconstruction analysis in downtown Waukesha from an event that took place on November 21st, 2021?
I did.
When did you begin your work on that analysis?
I worked with detectives from the City of Waukesha Police Department. On January 30th of this year, we actually went out to the scene to conduct a time distance analysis.
Where did you go at the scene?
We went to Curry Insurance Company, which was the cameras that we decided to use after viewing all the videos. That was the best, as far as what I'm concerned, to use in a time distance analysis. It was the clearest. It provided certain things that made it necessary for me to do an accurate time distance analysis.
What are some of those certain things you referenced?
What we look for and what we've been trained to do is, first of all, we look for a stationary camera, one that doesn't move. So when we are viewing the video of the incident and we are, again, recording new video with the time distance analysis, that camera is in the same exact spot. That's the first thing we do. Secondly, we want to have at least 2 fixed reference points to actually see where a vehicle in this case is entering the first reference point and where it hits the second reference point. So those need to be really clear for us to get an accurate distance. And from that point, then we want to actually time or make sure the timing on the video software is accurate. And that's simply a stopwatch that we use to verify that video is timing correctly, not too fast, not too slow. So once we have all that done and we determine those 2 points, we'll bring a vehicle in, and in this case, an exemplar vehicle that matched the description, I think, your make and model of the vehicle that was in the parade. We actually will have someone, me in this case, inside, watching the video on the screen, seeing when that exemplar vehicle comes into the screen. When it comes into the screen where the vehicle did at the time, we have somebody mark that location out on the roadway. We then do that for a second point further down. In this case, we had 2 points. Once we have those 2 points established, then we're bringing our survey equipment out, which is a Trimble unit that you've all seen them out on the roadways and in people's homes where they're surveying. That's what we use. Very accurate instrument. Just to give you an idea of accuracy, at about 300 feet, it's plus or minus an eighth of an inch off. So very, very accurate unit, which we use all the time for crash reconstruction. So once we have that distance, we verified the timing. It's a pretty simple calculation that we do to determine a vehicle's average speed through that particular distance that we have. And just keep in mind it's an average speed, so it could be moving faster or slower during certain portions of the distance, but it's just basically taking that average speed through that distance that we measure.
When you use that Trimble machine to conduct your measurements, did you use those measurements to later produce a 2-scale scene diagram?
I did.
Okay, I'd like to project for the witness-only exhibit number 56, please.
56?
Yes, please.
Okay. Go ahead, show the witness.
Do you recognize the diagram on the screen in front of you?
I do.
What is it?
That is the scale diagram that I created as a result of the Trimble measurements that I took out of the scene.
I move exhibit 56 into evidence and request permission to publish. On my screen.
Oh, man.
Right.
Oh, I don't know why. We'll need to check the cabling.
Yeah, please check it. He's going to say the prosecution is trying to keep him from seeing the evidence.
You don't mind?
Oh, bless your heart.
56.
Check the. Oh. You know when it's on the screen in front of you, sir? All right. Continue then.
You could say thank you.
Oh, and Exhibit 56. Well, first of all, let him review it. It's been offered by the state. You've now had an opportunity to review it, sir.
Trooper Smith is kind of going,
Right,
well,
Exhibit 56 is receive
This
permission
is
to
awkward.
publish as granted. Go ahead.
Okay, could you please walk us through what we're looking at here?
Yes, again, so this would be a diagram, two-dimensional orthogonal, so basically looking from the top down at the area that I did measure at the time we did the speed analysis. Obviously, it depicts a vehicle at a starting point and a vehicle at an end point. The vehicle at point A represents where that vehicle came into that east camera that was located at the Curry Insurance Company. And as soon as basically that vehicle, you're able to view it inside inside the insurance company with the representative that was there, I basically told that vehicle to stop. We marked that location on the roadway, and then we continued down to the secondary point, which I determined was the crosswalk. And we marked at that point once the exemplar vehicle reached that. And that's how we got that distance of 141 feet, roughly 3 inches.
Okay. And what do you do with that distance once you have that measurement?
So once we have that measurement, that's one part of the equation that we need. The equation that we need, just really to explain it briefly, comes from Newton's laws of motion. Force equals mass times acceleration. It's part of Newton's second law. The formula we use is velocity equals distance divided by time, and then we convert that velocity to speed. So we need two inputs in order to calculate the average speed of that vehicle over that distance. The first, obviously, is distance. The second is time. Now, how we get the time is we take the actual video from the incident, and we have a stopwatch, and we time it when it reaches those fixed points. And we do about 20 iterations, and we average those 20 iterations out to get a time. And that's the second part of the equation that we need in order to get that velocity or speed. Once we have that time, in this case it was 2.7 seconds, we round up and increase that time to the nearest whole number, which was 3.
Why do you round up? I'm sorry to interrupt you there.
Ooh,
That's
you
fine.
be like Brooks.
We round up
Just
always to
kidding.
give the benefit to the vehicle, because obviously the longer it takes to travel that distance, the slower the speed will be. So we always round up to the next number. If it was 2 seconds, we'd round up to 2.5. So it's about every half-second interval that we round up to. So now that we have the distance of 142 feet roughly, and the time of 3 seconds, not 2.7, we came up with the speed of the vehicle, or average speed of the vehicle during that segment of 32 miles an hour.
Whoa.
32 miles an hour as an average speed from point A to point B as they're depicted on this diagram?
Correct.
Sustained is to the form of the question. Please rephrase. The jury will disregard the last answer.
Could you please explain for us, again, summarizing what average speed you calculated and over what distance?
Yes. So the average speed, very simple. We marked point A, we marked point B, we had that distance, we had that time. The vehicle speed between point A, or the average vehicle speed, let me reiterate, was 32 miles an hour between point A and point B.
You mentioned an exemplar vehicle earlier. Can you maybe explain for us again the purpose of using an exemplar vehicle in your analysis?
Well, when I worked with the detectives from the City of Waukesha PD, we wanted to find an exemplar vehicle just due to the type of case this was. They were able to easily locate one that was very convenient to use, matching the description, I believe the year, make, and model of the car that was in the actual parade. So we decided to use that. Realistically, you can use any type of vehicle because you're just basically looking for that object coming into that frame of reference. But just for court purposes, I think it's a little bit easier to, show the jury that, hey, we used a vehicle that was similar or the same.
And in terms of this case, you used a 2010 red Ford Escape?
Correct.
Okay. Do you happen to know the curb weight of that vehicle?
Yeah.
Overruled, you may answer.
So explaining what curb weight is really quick, that's the weight of the vehicle as it comes off the assembly line. So it doesn't include fuel, it doesn't include any personal items, it's just right off the assembly line. This particular 4x2 vehicle was 3,368 pounds, curb weight.
Okay. And to clarify, does curb weight have anything to do with your speed, average speed analysis?
It does not.
Okay. When you get to the end result of your speed analysis, and you have that number, the average speed over that distance, does somebody check your work?
Yes, absolutely. Part of our protocol in the TRU is we have to have all of our reports peer reviewed. Has to be done. Every single one goes out to a former member of the TRU who is now a consultant for us. He peer reviews it, makes sure that everything is correct.
Okay, I want to wrap up by just asking you some clarifying questions about the nature of what an average speed means. Can you say definitively that at any point between point A and point B, the vehicle was traveling faster than 32 miles an hour?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled, you may answer.
So
Grounds.
average speed is calculated, as we talked about, through that distance. The vehicle can either be going faster than 32 or slower than 32 over that distance. But it's an average. Is it possible the vehicle maintained a constant speed of 32? Yes. But it's more plausible that you have higher and lower speeds during that segment.
Okay. That's all I have for this witness. Thank you.
Thank you. Cross.
Okay, so that was Master Trooper Michael Smith. So Trooper Smith, I mean, obviously he's an expert in his field. And most of us are not. And so, and well, I know Brooks thinks he's the smartest person and all that kind of stuff. I don't, however. I always think well, maybe I'm in the middle. But I wouldn't even know what to ask him, especially like if you're going to try to trip somebody up. Now, it's one thing if you're trying to trip them up about how many feet and the speed and the hair and the color and all that. That's one thing. But what can he possibly know about this topic to try to trip this guy up to make it, to win his case? Of course, again, to me, it's clear that, well, either he is not interested in winning the case, either because he thinks he's just going to win, or he doesn't care because he knows he's going to spend 1,000 years in prison. But I'm just curious, what possibly could he ask this man that would help him out? I mean, this man, somebody looks at his work. He's very thorough with everything. So I have no possible idea what Brooks is going to ask. But let's see.
Thank you. Cross.
Yes. This is kind of distraction still being on there.
Oh, the diagram is distracting him, huh? Poor baby.
From your testimony, it seems like you've been doing crash reconstructions for quite some time. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Around 2004, I believe you said?
I was in the program from about 2002, but really started getting into full recons about 2004. You need a little bit of training first before you can actually go out and be on
Hear
your
that,
own.
Brooks? Training. Okay, I'm just listening. Oh, my hand got in the way. I just thought I'd stop that. Anyhow, so yeah. Okay, that's a general question. It sounds like you've been doing that for a while. Okay, so the other thing, I said we're going to have fun with this. Okay, so when I was recording this, I noticed, well, of course, it was being broadcast live, and there was a live stream on, and I tell you, these people, and hey, you all might have even been on the live stream, who knows? But if any of these sound familiar, I kind of jotted down what some of the people were saying as this testimony was going on. And so if y'all want to play along, play. If you don't want to play, that's okay. But this sounds like something most of you all would say. Y'all are pretty creative and funny. Like some of the questions were, I'll kind of stop. I'll do a few as we go along. But like one of them, which would be a typical question, are you on duty today? But this guy, look, I mean, he knows his stuff, and he doesn't, I don't know. If it was a woman, Brooks might be more inclined to do it. Now, he has asked the men, too. I don't know if y'all noticed, but he was looking at the jury. Is Brooks going to ask him something about that? Nobody said that. This was just me. But, well, one of the people said, are you on duty today? Which would make sense. And then, of course, this is the one I said, of course, are you getting paid to testify today? Now we'll listen to Brooks ask some more of the questions, and I'll tell you what people, I guess they were doing it like if they were Brooks. So what you have to do is get into Brooks' head and think up a question that he would ask. And if you want to, post it in the comments. I know it's not like really exciting fun, but hey, it's still something. I love cheap entertainment. I don't know about you all, but okay. So let's see what Brooks does.
You stated that you worked with detectives in the process. Do you recall who that was?
Yeah, that was Detective Casey.
Ooh. Why is Brooks interested in always knowing people's names? Because they're his accuser or his enemy? I don't know.
On getting the calculation of the speed, did you work with anyone on that side of your investigation?
No.
So it's pretty much just you and the detectives.
The detective did not assist me with the speed calculation. He just assisted me with obtaining the videos, and also assisted me, excuse me, out at the scene where we did the testing.
I think the exhibit showed the building that had the camera. Do you recall which streets that were on along the parade route?
Yeah, that was in front of Curie Insurance on Main Street.
And the point A and point B, did those start from a cross street, or was it just the main?
The insurance company has cameras outside by the sidewalk. There's two of them. There's one towards the east and one towards the west, right at the front of the building.
His expression is like,
You made reference to the distance traveled in feet.
Correct.
I think it was 141.
Correct. 141 feet 2 inches, a little bit over that.
And you made a reference to the average speed. Any reason why the average speed wasn't depicted in the exhibit?
That's just a calculation that we do that's included in the report. I don't normally do that in the diagram.
So it would be fair to say that you created the diagram?
I did create the diagram, yes.
I think you already said that earlier, but that's just me.
You said normally you don't put the speed calculation in the diagram. Would it be any reason for that?
It's in the report. It's not necessary to put it in the diagram.
Have you ever done that before?
Can you rephrase the question?
Have you ever
No kidding.
not included the speed analysis in any crash reconstructions that you've done before this one?
Are you referring to the diagram or are you referring to the
Referring
report?
to the diagrams.
No, I don't. I do not put speed calculation results in diagrams
On any of them.
on any of them.
What is he getting
Did
at?
you create any diagram with the speed calculations present on it?
No, I don't. The diagram that I created is the
I
one
think
that
he
was
already,
up on the screen.
already said that.
And then from there, you put the speed calculations just in the report.
Yeah, I normally just put them in the report, yes. I don't have any recollection of putting one in the diagram.
Look at that, his face. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, Brooks isn't over his head. He's digging, digging, digging.
Would it be fair to say that it may be a little bit difficult to locate what you analyze for speed if it's not in the diagram?
No.
He just said no. I'm sorry, I cut it off. Wait a minute. I'm just going. Brooks really has some gonads, doesn't he? I mean, he's going to tell this man who's had all of this training. Look at that expression too. Wouldn't it be easier to put it in the and go ahead and put the speed in the average speed in the diagram? You already explained all that. How do you go and tell a man how to do his job? You know, unless you're experiencing that. This is where he is just really, you know, he really should have just said no questions. But hey, he's going to ask. So here we go. I'm going, no. Trying to tell his man where to put his stuff.
So if you wanted to know the calculation of the speed, you would have to read the report.
Duh.
Correct.
Maybe because he's just not used to researching and reading his papers.
Would it be fair to say that it might be easier to find if it was included in the diagram?
My diagram is included with my report, and that's all one unit, so it is in the report.
Okay, that's funny. He's really. Look at that man's expression. I mean, Officer. No, Master Trooper Smith. I mean, there's a little bit insulting. He's probably saying, dude, you ran over all those folks, okay? And you're going to tell me how to do my diagram and my report? Oh my goodness. That is not surprising, honestly, is it? Look at him. He's looking around like that's priceless. They're going, I can't believe it. Look at that. He's going, dear God.
Can you explain what the S6 is?
Yes, the S6 is the name of the Trimble robotic total station that we use to actually measure things at crash scenes.
So that's like a certain technology or something. Would that be fair to say?
It's a piece of surveying equipment that
Oh,
if you've been on the
God, help
road,
us.
you've seen them where they're measuring the roadways, or if somebody's building a home. Same type of equipment, we just use it for crash reconstruction.
And this is helping your case how, Brooks? How? How is it helping your case? I wonder what the bailiff is. He just went, he just took a breath and went.
And what is a prism? Is that in direct relation to the electronic distance measuring system?
Correct. The total station is one part of the equipment that we use. The prism is the other. The total station communicates with the prism through an electronic digital measuring system, which is a laser. The two pieces are needed, in this case, to collect the measurements that I collected. Not a necessary component to using the equipment, but we normally do use the prism when taking measurements.
And that prism's pretty accurate, you would say.
Well, the unit is accurate.
The prism.
What about the prism?
Yeah, it's all accurate. The unit
What
itself
about the
is very
prism?
accurate.
Stop
The
it. Stop it now.
200
Okay, I'm going to stop and do some questions now that people were doing on the chat. Okay, so let's see. Somebody said, the diagram is my accuser. Is the diagram the plaintiff? Did the test vehicle have tinted windows? Have you ever seen the diagram? Did the diagram file a complaint? Is it fair to say the prism isn't an entity? Is there tint on the prism? Did the prism honk the horn in the diagram? Did the prism see the license plate? Okay, there's some. Okay, I know. I don't know. It was just, sometimes we just need humor. You know what I'm saying? Okay, here we go.
feet. It's about 1/8 of an inch either way, plus or minus.
I love how he's looking around. It's almost like he's saying, Judge, please let me go. This man is scary. Not the man himself, but his
And
questions.
is the CAD the diagram that you created?
Oh, dear.
Could you rephrase the question, please?
Is the
Oh,
the
dear.
CAD
Brooke, stop it. Look at the
is
bailiff.
that software related to the diagram that you created?
It is.
Mm.
In what way?
The computer-aided design software program that we use is a tool that when we transfer the measurements from the Trimble total station, we transfer that into the computer-aided design program, and that's how we create our diagram.
Oh, gosh. This is funny. He's like, I can't believe I have to sit here and do this. They better pay me double today. I'm sure he has some notes from his former attorneys, but of course he's probably gonna go do his own thing anyhow. Come on.
Can you explain what the 2.4 gigahertz radio technology is?
That's just software that's built into the total station, the Trimble unit, as part of its communication.
And is that communication radio?
Yeah, there's a radio inside the unit, correct?
He is really grasping. Brooks, stop. This is so painful. At least he's not being mean to anyone for right now.
You made reference to something called Newton's Law. Can you explain a little bit further what that is?
Newton's laws of motion are what we use as a big step in our reconstruction field. A lot of formulas are derived from Newton's laws, including the formula that we use to calculate the vehicle's average speed. Sir Isaac Newton obviously invented the laws of motion. We all learned that in high school, and that's part of the process. It came to the formula that I use to calculate the average speed.
It's making me laugh.
I always thought of Newton as gravity, so that was a bit of new information.
Oh my goodness. Did you notice though how he said, we all learned that in high school? I think somebody, did somebody have a question that they were going to say about Newton? Oh, somebody asked in the chat, how long was Newton at the parade? Is Newton the injured party? Someone else asked something about Newton. I guess that was it, but is the Trimble the plaintiff? Did you see the Prism drive the SUV? Someone also put, Brooks won't accept Newton's second law. How about not repeating myself? Sometimes I can't remember what I said. Is Newton the plaintiff? Do you see Newton? Have you ever spoken to Newton? Was there anything else about Newton? I kept wondering if... Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I think I already said something about the Trimble and the Prism, right? Did the test vehicle have tinted windows? Have you ever seen the diagram? Did the diagram file a complaint? Yeah, the prism doesn't consent. I think I've forgotten what well, anyhow, I know that we all could be creative and come up with some things. Okay, let's see what else we got here.
You made reference to part of the crash reconstruction was finding a similar vehicle. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And you were able to find a similar vehicle pretty easily, you would say?
That would have been the City of Waukesha Police Department, which found the vehicle.
And you made reference to it being in the parade as well?
Mm-hmm.
Or part of the parade as well?
The exemplar vehicle?
Yes, the vehicle that was similar.
Brooks
The
and
exemplar vehicle was not in the parade.
quite is with it as
I may
usually
have
is.
misinterpreted what you
Yeah,
were
you
saying.
did. Anyhow, that's all right.
And you said it was found by the Waukesha Police Department.
Yes, sir.
Do you recall if that part of your investigation and the creating of the graph and all that technology that goes with that, was that part of the same day, or were they done on at different times?
I'm sorry, are you referencing the diagram, the creation of the diagram?
Right.
No, that was
Because
not.
it seems like a lot of technology went into getting the diagram created, and different variations of that.
You're just talking
And
outside.
then also
Let him talk.
using a similar vehicle to, I guess, simulate would that be fair to say, simulate the incident?
We used the exemplar vehicle for our testing.
Was that done all the same day, or was it done?
Sorry, could you rephrase the question again? I'm
Yeah,
not understanding what you're
seriously.
asking.
He doesn't know what
Was the
he's doing.
creation of the diagram and the simulation of the vehicle done on the same day?
No, it was not.
So
Oh
it'd
my
be fair
goodness.
to say it was a process involved in getting all the information.
Okay,
Correct.
these are just not helping him at all. Well, helping the jury to say, oh my gosh, who is this? He just like wants to get out of there so bad.
And you stated that that was done around January 30th, around that time.
The testing was done on January 30th.
I don't know,
And
everything's
what
tickling.
about the simulation from the similar vehicle?
Simulation for the similar vehicle.
I'm sorry, could you rephrase the question?
Do you recall what date the simulation was performed?
Are you asking when I completed my analysis?
Specifically the part of the similar vehicle being used.
That was January 30th. We did the testing out on Main Street in front of Curry Insurance.
Oh my goodness.
So what part of the process was done at a later date?
The diagram, the calculations, the time distance analysis.
I don't know, his expressions are killing me. This is a nice break from the other nonsense. Look at him looking through the papers. I mean, you're supposed to be fighting for your life, man, and you're just like, it's almost like you're trying to get a little lesson in this man's work.
Do you recall the date of the second part of the investigation?
Are you referring to
Reaching.
when I completed my reports?
Yes.
No, I don't know what day that was.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Brooks, come
Was
on.
it sometime after the January 30th date?
He's gonna say
Correct.
something like, why so long? He doesn't get anything, does he? He really doesn't. He's probably saying, somebody say something, let me get out of here.
Would you say there was a delay in finishing it, or did something cause you to kind of...
Wow, he is really reaching. And it's kind of offensive, really, to him. Look at that face. Yeah.
Was
That
there
man is in
anything
pain.
that may have delayed you finishing the investigation quickly?
What?
Can you rephrase?
Yeah.
What do you mean by quickly?
By it seems like there was
Oh my God.
two parts of it: getting the simulation done, and then the actual diagram and things of that.
Why do you
Any
keep saying
reason why
simulation?
that couldn't be
Oh my
done
gosh.
closer together?
Well, first of all, it's not a simulation.
I'm sorry,
because
I'm
the
choking
simulation
because
is
I'm
different
laughing.
than
I
what we
apologize,
did.
guys.
This was just some testing we did out at the scene. Secondly, as I mentioned earlier, I respond to hundreds of crashes. Depends on what I'm working on at the time. Once our reports are completed, they need to be peer reviewed. All that process takes time. So there's nothing that delayed my report. If you want to use me going to another crash, that possibly could have delayed it, but no delays that would affect the outcome of the report or the accuracy of the report.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wasn't going to that part of it. I was just kind of curious to
Curious?
what may have spaced out the dates. That's what I was really getting at.
So he wasn't like worried about it really. He just was curious. As you said, your life is on the line. When he did that Oscar-winning performance. Now it's almost like he's interested in getting, like he's taking a class or something. I mean, I don't get it. But you know what? That's okay. I just know that this poor fellow here, why do I keep forgetting his name? He's Master Trooper Michael Smith, he's like, I can't believe I have to talk to this person. Not only did he cause what looked like a war zone, he's asking me these incredibly stupid questions. He clearly doesn't know what he's asking. And I have to sit here and subject myself to the fact that he caused carnage in the town of Waukesha and hurt all these people. And now I have to listen to this. Oh my goodness.
We do a lot of reports every year, and obviously we're not just doing one report a year. So every report is different. Every report requires different types of analysis. So there's really no set time on when we can finish a report compared to when we started. It just depends on what else is going on outside of our time in the office.
Look at Zach. He's like going, please stop. It's just so funny. We gotta laugh, guys, right? Because in the midst of tragedy, we must find humor. Was he writing something down? Oh my gracious. Maybe
No
he
further
said,
questions.
oh, well.
I need to redirect.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. You may-
She's probably thinking of something, and Zach is probably saying, let's not put him through any more of this torture. Very interesting. Okay, so I don't know. I think, but anyhow, yeah, it was. I thought, y'all, it's a nice change of pace from all of this crap. I mean, but let's not worry, because there's so much more, as we all know. But I thought this was just kind of fun. So, as always, I hope y'all are doing well. I always appreciate you watching, commenting, and just giving your input and humor and all that. It's wonderful. So have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening. I don't know when this is going to come out, so I'm not going to say a day, because some days it doesn't come out like the last one. I thought it'd be coming out sooner. I hate to say it, because I might say on there, oh, well, it will be out today, and then it doesn't turn out that way, like the last 2 times, so I apologize for that. But I really do appreciate you all, and I will see you soon, hopefully sooner than later. I won't have any, technical difficulties or, whatever might happen. But be kind to one another, be kind to you, and I'll see you the next time.